What's going on, family? It's your backyard gardener. I am out here in the garden today. It's gonna get up to 85 degrees, and this is some weather that I have been waiting for. But I'm gonna take you on a garden walk. But as I take you on a garden walk, I have a question for you. Is it possible to have an addiction to buying trees? Is it possible to have an addiction to gardening? Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to take you on a garden walk. First of all, let me show you this comfrey. Every year, this comfrey has been here for maybe 8 years, and every year it just gets taller and taller when it comes back. Comfrey is doing great. Bumblebees love it. Always over in here. So, is it possible to be addicted to buying fruit trees? Let me show you a few things. See that tree over there? That's my jujube tree right there. And then behind my greenhouse, I have a cherry tree. And then right here, I have another cherry tree. How many cherries do you really need? But they pollinate each other. Now let's talk about the figs for a moment. Over here, this is my fig patio. All my figs go here every single year. The addiction is, how many fig trees do you need? I brought my figs out yesterday, and I went back in the house last night, and it was 4 more trees in the house. I'm asking the question, who trees is these? It can become an addiction. But they are doing really good this year. I can't wait to harvest these. They're doing very good. Now this is my Red Haven peach tree. Last year it gave me 2 fruits. This year it's going to give me even more. I sprayed this tree with dormant oil before it woke up. So I'm hoping I don't have those bugs that I had on here last year, and I can enjoy the fruits. I was buying so many trees that I started making excuses for buying trees. Like, this is at Tractor Supply. It's a Red Haven. I already have a Red Haven, self-pollinating. So I was like, well, the grandkids need one. No, they don't. Here's another tree, green Ashia, fig. Haven't woke up yet, but it's leafing out. I have 3 grapevines, and that's crazy, because we all know how grapes grow. That's one over there. I have 2 blueberry, Top Hat and Patriot. And then over here, grapevine. And I'm going to relocate these because I don't want to put them in the ground in my yard, because they can become, the vines can become very invasive. Then over here I was trimming an apple tree, and I didn't even want to throw the trimming away. So I stuck it down in this pot about a month ago. And here it is, doing well. I already have an apple tree. This is the Golden Delicious. The cherry tree is going to produce some cherries this year, hopefully. It's doing good. Let's step inside the orchard so I can show you some other things that's going on. This is my Santa Rosa plum. Lots of blooms. This spring we got hit with a late frost. I covered it, so I have to see how that's going to work out. Hopefully I'll get a couple of plums. If not, I'll be patient till next year. Raspberries. Another one. 1, 2. It's a third one somewhere. There go another raspberry bush. Oh, the other one is over there. Right here is my persimmon tree. I have to store this tree in my greenhouse every winter because it's really not hardy enough, but it comes back. So I'm grateful for that. And then we have the Asian pear. I just put this in last year. Grew pretty good. There's the pollinating Asian pear to it. And then of course we have a blackberry now. I stopped growing blackberries. But I was out of the store and I seen it and I picked it up because I just felt like I had to have it. It's part of an addiction. When you think you have to have something and you really don't. And this is my black apricot. 2 more weeks, this tree don't wake up, I'll be calling the nursery. Right here, this is the apple tree. So this year, it looked like I'm going to get some apples off this tree. It's actually kind of loaded. So once they start getting a little bigger, I'll be thinning this out. This is my Golden Delicious. And over here, you probably asking why my tree look like a string puppet. Well, I'm taking the time to train my tree that will be beneficial for airflow and beneficial for me picking it. Convenient, I should say. This is a plum tree, and they have a tendency of growing straight up. So I took strings and I started pulling those limbs down before the tree even woke up. And it's been like this for about a month. I'm gonna give it another month, and I think they should set its form. But this is another plum tree, an Italian plum tree. Now I just said that I had a Santa Rosa plum tree, but I have to have the Italian plum tree to pollinate the Santa Rosa plum tree. We're not even going to talk about the urban garden. We'll get to that in a part 2 or something. But it's about 4 trees over there. 4 more fig trees in the house. So my point of all of this is sometimes buying fruit trees can become an addiction. It's not that we really need it. It's that we're addicted and we convince ourselves that we have to have all these trees. So, and that's not really the case. Every year, because I'm in Michigan, Zone 6B, every single year, I have to drag 26 fig trees into the house. Into the house to overwinter. And every year, every spring, I have to move them from the house to the kitchen because they wake up a little early in the basement, to the porch, out here on the pallets. That's a lot of work. I prune my roots so that the pot, I can use the same pots because I would not dare add a bigger pot. That's the wonderful thing about fig trees. You can prune the roots and they will allow you to keep your tree in the same pot, and it will thrive, because actually figs like crowded spaces for their roots. They like to be contained closely. But my whole point is that an addiction is real. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a completely bad thing, but what I am saying is, if you are a new gardener and you're thinking about growing fruit trees and you have a small backyard, or even if you have acres, make sure that you grow exactly what you like, because the energy, the time that you're going to put into those trees, the energy and time that you're going to put into your garden, you want to make sure that it's completely beneficial for you and you're benefiting from it, you and your family. I'm going to benefit from all of my trees because I have 4 grandbabies and my sons and my family. So I'll be able to share my fruits of my labor. And trust me, if you care about your trees, it's going to be labor in them until they get established. I have to water my trees. I have to fertilize my trees. I have to dormant spray my trees. I have to copper fungicide my trees to make sure that all the bugs. It can get a little expensive, especially when you have so many trees, and it can be a little labor intensive because you have so many trees. But at the end, you will enjoy the fruits of your labor. Every Monday, like clockwork, I go to the vegetable garden. This is all year round, and I buy fruits and vegetables because my grands, I'd rather for them to eat fruit than candy. I'd rather for them to have their vegetables fresh than canned. And the same thing with myself, and the same thing with my sons. So this is going to benefit me in the long run in a very big way. But when you're looking through those catalogs, Logis and Stark Brothers, Rain Tree, Growing Organics, wherever you get your trees from, Home Depot, Lowe's, think about this one thing. Is this something that you really, really need? If not, keep walking. Now, over in my urban garden, I have 2 more apple trees, 2 more pear trees, raspberries and blueberries. That will help out a lot for myself. It'll help out a lot for the community. It'll help out a lot for my family. I love to garden, so I'm not even complaining. Just letting you know, if you're going to grow trees, if you're going to grow a garden, make sure that you dedicate it to it. Dedicate it so you can enjoy all the fruits of your labor. You will have a thriving garden. You will have abundance of fruit, all of that. Composting, water catchments like this. This is going to save on money. I haven't completely got that hooked all the way up yet, so I'm still on my city water, but I'll be off my city water because it takes me a good 50 minutes, no lie, to walk around and water all my trees and my garden. I haven't even started putting my garden down. But this is called dedication, because on those 90 degrees days, you can't skip. You have to keep growing. You have to keep going. You can't say it's too hot outside. Well, your trees are thirsty. And after your trees get established, you won't have to water them as much. But that garden, You definitely gonna have to take care of that garden. So to all my newbie gardeners out there, at the end of the day, it is so worth it, and you will have a sense of accomplishment and pride that you probably never had before. So keep growing. And everybody that's in my city, you know the saying, keep growing Detroit. Happy gardening, everybody.